Howdy y'all, Stock Warden here, back with another video. Today's video we're looking at Lithium America Corp, and so far their Q1 earnings result has had a huge positive green trend, a lot better than what they were looking at back in 2025, and not only that, they have put out an exclusive review over Lithium America's having a whole year of 2026 being packed with new Thacker Pass milestones. So as it stands right now, this stock is on a very well bullish trend. So they've been moving ever so slightly upward in a small trend where they had a lower resistance level down at 370 a share at the lowest point of this year, and they have trended all the way from that 370 all the way up to right at $6 a share. So they have almost since doubled just in the past few months. So as it stands right now, we are still showing a solid bull flag, considering the stock has dipped just a little bit under $1 in the past week. So, but with all of these new sets of news that have been coming through, along with their strong Q1 report, the stock is definitely showing to get back on the bull side to continue moving forward. So if we go back and we look at the resistance lines that we were touching on during the last video that we did on LAC, we can bridge that straight across to where our old line was on $5.22 a share. So, but we can definitely redraw that line from the last few months, where I would say the new more or less line that we would be considering would be more along this $5 to $5.13 range. So I'm just going to draw a line pretty much in the middle at 509. So with that being somewhat of their new bottom resistance line, and then obviously their top being anywhere between 580 and $6 a share. So then this stock is definitely trending in the right direction if you've been holding on to this stock for a little while, and or if you just bought in during the dip back in March. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get into the Q1 results for 2026. So, but we'll cover a little bit on the site right now. So they are still accelerating towards mechanical completion in late 2027. There are now over 1,300 workers on site as of mid-May, and over 2,000 expected at peak construction. So in 2025, they emphasized de-risking the project execution and made strategic decisions that have enabled them to focus on full execution in 2026. So detailed engineering is almost complete, and finances have been secured, and global supply chain challenges are being well managed. So with all of that being said, this is absolutely amazing, and they have also gotten some attaboys and some very well-deserved compliments coming from the U.S. Department of Energy and the U.S. senators as well. So they've been stating that at a moment when resilient domestic supply chains are more critical than ever, lithium stands out as a strategic resource underpinning both national security and a reliable energy future. We are grateful for the strong partnerships and support from leaders at the federal and state levels. So recent visits to Thacker Pass by U.S. Senators Catherine Cortez, Mosto, and Jackie Rosen, and then you also have Nevada's Governor Joe Lombardo. Then you also have the U.S. Department of Energy _ a shared commitment to strengthening American supply chains, advancing energy independence, and creating meaningful American jobs. So they are getting some well-deserved positive news coming from some very powerful sources, and with them tightening up all of their liabilities and trying to put forth all their effort on execution is definitely starting to pay off. So now into the numbers for Q1 of 2026. The company had approximately $1.2 billion total in cash and restricted cash, which includes the $529 million at the Thacker Pass joint venture level. So on January 26th, the company completed an at-the-market equity program, which was established back in November of 2025, where the company issued and sold an aggregate total of 43.3 million common shares at an average price of $5.78 per share. So that's roughly where we are sitting at right now, which is still continuing to push this stock in a positive direction. So not only that, you also have a, they are also pursuant to the November 2025 ATM program for aggregate net proceeds of $246.7 million after the sales agent commission and other expenses. So that was a definite positive light where they took a bit of a risk, but it ended up paying off in the end. So then on February 24th of this year, the company received its second advance on the U.S. Department of Energy loan of $432 million as well. So on March 19th of 2026, the company entered into another ATM equity program, which is pursuant to which the company may sell some more of its common shares up to a maximum aggregate offering price of $250 million. So that hasn't been seen just yet, but that is still a possibility. So as of March 31st, the company did not issue or sell any common shares nor receive any net proceeds pursuant to the ATM program. So, but subsequent to the March 31st, 2026, the company has issued and sold a total of 2.3 million common shares at an average of $5.20 per share. So, and then now as of May 13th, the company had 351 million shares issued and outstanding. So, as it stands right now, they have definitely been able to boost their stock price a little bit, even though they are somewhat watering down their numbers. But just because they're selling those shares off does not mean that they still do not hold the main major partner in their company. So they're not selling off vast majorities and mass quantities of shares to single stakeholders and or single companies. So that's definitely helping in the same sense. So they're definitely being careful with where they're distributing all of their financing and also getting more financing as well. So they have a total of 2.4 million work hours completed at Thacker Pass without a serious injury or lost time incident, and a total recordable incident frequency rate of 0.25. So that is also huge as well. So a total of $1.3 billion of construction capital cost and other project-related costs have been capitalized. So of which $1.1 billion is part of the total capital expenditure. So, and its estimate of $2.93 billion per the company's technical report. So on the Thacker Pass project. So The company has continued to target a total capex range of 1.3 to 1.6 billion for phase 1 for fiscal year 2026. So a lot of the detailed engineering design is completed and has surpassed 95%, while procurement is over 70% complete, including the shipment of major plant materials and equipment. So there were approximately a little over 1,000 personnel on site, and they're going to have that 2,000 personnel increase into the second half of 2026. So with all that being said, this company is definitely pushing forward. Their construction is not slowing down. And with them being in their full execution phase for 2026, it seems like they are going to be doing nothing but building and progressing and continuing to knock out these major percentage and milestones on completing phase 1 of the Thacker Pass project, so then they can stay on schedule for their full mechanical turnkey in 2027. So that is definitely something awesome to see happening with this company, with them being backed not only by federal but also by state, and them being fully accountable and taking part in being wary of how they run their shares, how they sell their shares, and how they can continue to move the financial needle in their direction in a smart move instead of just bowing out to other companies and partnerships taking big chunks of ownership in this company. So with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hopefully y'all were able to get a little bit more on LAC, on where they are heading and actually which direction that the stock should be heading, considering their beat odd for their estimate on their earnings. So with all that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed it. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. So this is the Stock Warden, riding off. Y'all come back now, you hear?